Hi, I'm Alistair Moore. You might know me as the author of the novel The Release, which came out in 2018 via Candy Jar Books. But I'm not here today to talk about The Release. I'm here to talk about a new book I've just put out called Flaptrap and Other Stories. Here it is. Unlike The Release, which was obviously with a traditional publisher, Candy Jar Books, I wanted complete creative control this time. So I did everything myself with this one, including formatting, cover design, all of that stuff, which I'll talk about in a minute. So this book is essentially a mini anthology of some of the short stories I've written over the last 10 years. They vary a lot in style, like some of them are first person, some of them are third person, some are flash fiction, some are more memoir style, some are more satirical and humorous. And a nice way to talk about some of these stories and introduce them would be to actually talk about some of what's on the cover, because I designed this cover with some of the stories in mind. So it's a nice way to sort of introduce some of the stories in this little book. So if you can see that image on the cover there of the monkey with stitches around his head, that represents a story called LMO39, which is about a narcissistic researcher who tries to get a laboratory monkey to speak. And the spoiler alert is he does succeed in getting the monkey to speak like a human. But essentially the story is about this standoff struggle between man and beast. For example, there's a scene later on in the story where the monkey starts throwing his shit at the scientist, and the scientist thinks he's failed because the monkey's not speaking anymore. But actually, although the monkey does know how to speak, he's just expressing his feelings towards the scientist in the purest way he can. Another image there you can see is this little baby in a pram with one eye. This is a more recent story I wrote called A Better Place, which is about a downtrodden office worker who starts having freaky hallucinations and goes to see a very quirky psychotherapist to try and work through his problems. These riot cops here represent a short story. I would call this one flash fiction, Kickoff, a story about a protest which is turning violent. Some of you may have seen the film adaptation of it, directed by a friend of mine, Zoran Trajkovic, of the same name, Kickoff. That film was in the film festivals around 2013. So yeah, released a while ago now. So the original short story it was based on is part of this little collection. That image there with those two on the escalator relates to the name of this collection, and the story is called Flaptrap, and it's about a pervert who straps a mirror to his shoe. So the stories, they're not all satirical. The Box is another story in here, which is a memoir type story of a First World War veteran in the twilight years of his life, reflecting on his life. And it's essentially about the horror of brother on brother war, which is quite a relevant topic today, given what's happening in Ukraine at the moment. So I really enjoyed putting this book together. It was an absolute pleasure to design it, and obviously enjoyed writing all the stories. I'm really happy with how it came out. I think it came out beautifully, especially this little paperback. It's kind of like a pocket size volume, ideal for reading on short trips or dipping into that kind of thing, especially in our current age of short attention spans. So I'm going to put links to this below in the description. It's out now on Kindle and in paperback. This is the paperback one. So if you're intrigued, or alternatively, if you've read my other book, The Release, and you want to read more of my stuff, this is a fantastic way to do it. So links below, check it out.